there. Good afternoon. My name is Adeiga Bisoye, and you're welcome to Cleveland TV in Diaspora Live interview. Today we have a special guest, but before we introduce our special guest, I need to share with you some information about Cleveland TV in Diaspora. You can sign up on Cleveland TV for free and have access to all our wonderful blog sports, television programs, and of course, you can also watch free movies. I mean, free movies from all over the world. So, back to today's program, we have Dexter Nwanya, and he is an actor and a director. Good afternoon, Mr. Nwanya.
Good afternoon, Bisoya. Thanks for having me.
All right. I guess you are in Nigeria at the moment, right? How is
Yes,
Nigeria?
Nigeria is good. I'm here for work. We are doing a TV series with in association with Montage Africa,
Oh,
Montage Africa Media.
that's nice. That's nice. That's nice. Okay, so which acting technique do you think is best for you as an actor and, of course, as a director?
That's a bit of a question because there are a couple of acting techniques that are available to an actor. You know, I think the standard is five. But for me, I think it's a combination of all of them. I tend to go back in time before the advent of television and film.
Okay.
When it was strictly theater, we had what we call classical acting, all right, which is really, really about theater. It's about making sure that you're heard, and there are a lot of contrived movements and all that. But I have, over time, I've married the classical acting style and modern style, which is really television. Yeah. And also, you have to consider the director here and the kind of story and the kind of film, the culture of the film that you want to do. So yeah. So basically, I can say that I'm a mix of all acting styles.
Okay. How long have you been acting for?
If you want to go back to the beginning, I was a child actor.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, I grew up in Enugu, and back in the day, we had a TV program called Churches Club and another magazine program that had kids. So we used to. That was when my passion for TV developed, actually, as a child. So, and after my formative years, and I took it up again.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know that in acting there's something called ethical issues and every other stuff that an actor or a director needs to put in place, before using people's images or their information before they can share their information. So, what methods do you use to protect the confidentiality about content for film and TV projects?
Hello there. Looking for an African movie? Search no further. Cleveland African Movies TV is here for you. We are dedicated to the acceleration of African films, TV series, documentaries, and lots more. Explore our movies at home or on the go. Cleveland Movies is free to watch on cleveland.com. Don't miss this opportunity. Hurry now. Sign up and subscribe today.
Confidentiality is standard for me. It's I depend on copyright laws,
Okay.
which you find in every country, every civilized country, so to speak, you know. And then I also employ NDAs, that is non-disclosure agreements, you know. So there are forms available for that, and that way I am protected. But you know, there are no guarantees here. It's not foolproof, you know. So you still get people, you know, copying without license and all that, you know. So there's for me, I just do the basics, you know. I try to do the basic and then leave the rest to the industry. You know what I'm saying? You know. So in terms of confidentiality, I really depend on copyright laws that are available, and I use that before I pitch any work. I use confidentiality before I use the copyright laws a lot in my scripts. My first drafts and my final drafts, you will find the C symbol, you know, showing that before you take any part of this work, you need to get authority. So that's what I do really. So, and then for the actors that I might employ or the crew I might employ, we use NDAs. I use NDAs, you know. So everybody's got to sign the non-disclosure agreement. And that's it. That's the only way I can protect myself, and that's the way we protect ourselves, you know. But like I said earlier, they're not foolproof.
All right. I'm sure in acting or in directing, there are so many challenges because we know that there is no easy work, you know, out there. So, what do you think can make a role challenging as an actor?
Okay, rules challenging. For me, any rule that I accept, that means I'm going to do that to the best of my ability. But having said that, there are roles that are actually challenging, you know. But when a role challenges me, I relish it, you know. And but what stands out is when I have to do a role in a different language that is not English or my native language, you know, which I seldom do really, you know. So when because if you take up a role, if you sign a contract that you're going to do work and then you accept the role, you have to do that to the best of your ability. And if I pick up a role that I have to do in a different language, it becomes really challenging, you know. But what I need to do is, which is standard for me, I would have to leave myself, learn the language as much as I can, and then do the best I can. That's it, you know. And on the other hand, as well, you know, there are other roles, you know, when it has to do with my phobias. You know, there are times as an actor that you need to work with wild animals. And when it comes to wild animals, you know, it's not like I have a phobia for them, but, you know, I get scared, you know, because I see them as animals and I see them as wild animals and they can turn on anybody anytime, you know. So I tend to be very careful, you know what I'm saying? That is challenging. Okay. And then, which this one tops all of them, roles that have to do with my phobias. I don't know what you call it, you know, but I have a phobia for heights.
Acrophobic.
What did you call it?
Acrophobic.
Acrophobic or acrophobia, whatever it is. You know, I have a phobia for heights, and when I have to walk in tall buildings and I have to be on the balcony, I'd rather pass, rather pass. You know, so it's always challenging for me. Actually, it's always very very challenging.
So aside your,
that's what I can say.
no,
That's what I can.
Okay.
No, that's what I can say. Any other, I relish every other thing.
Okay, so aside from your mother tongue that you acted, like you seldomly act in, what other
Yeah.
language have you spoken? What other language can you speak aside from English, of course? And
Well, I've worked in Sutu in
okay,
South Africa, which I had to go out on myself again and learn the language, and then I did my best, in as much as it was the parts that I had to speak as Sutu were short, but I had to be authentic because that's what you do as an actor. The first thing you do, you have to be very authentic in everything that you do, so that you come out as believable, and also respect the language and culture it comes from.
all right, thank you very much. In case you're just joining us, we've been having a very wonderful conversation with Dexter Nwanya, right? He's an
Yes,
actor
that's
and a
pronounce it right.
director. Yeah, he's a movie actor and a director. And we've been speaking about life as an actor, um, the challenges about confidentiality, etc., etc. So, moving forward, Mr. Nwanya, would you identify any actor in the industry as a role model or role models?
I've always admired film. I've always admired great actors. I've always admired great performances from great actors, and I've always copied them. I've always learned from them, and I've always, um, yeah, I've always learned from them. As a child growing up, I've always liked my people, actors that actually inspire me till today. There's an actor, an American actor called Anthony Quinn. That's the first man that inspired me on voice acting. Very distinct voice. He used it. His movement was always good. And then, yeah. So you can, I can't but mention Anthony Quinn. I'd have to also mention Charlton Heston. He was the first actor that I actually learned about power and intensity. Charlton Heston. I don't know if you've ever watched um, um, is it Moses or something? Is it Moses? Yeah, he did Moses a while.
Yeah.
He did Moses a while back, and he did a TV series called Dynasty and the Kobe. He was Mr. Kobe. He taught me about um, power, bringing power to the screen, and that's where I learned it. And I learned firsthand from him. Firsthand, I mean firsthand, because I went through one of his master classes. Well, on video. he where he talked about bringing power to the screen and using television, using the camera properly. And then there are a couple of others. In modern day television and film. A couple of other actors that I admire. Locally in South Africa, there's a colleague of mine. I like his work, and Vusi Kunene is. I've worked with him a couple of times, but I like his work. I admire his work. In Hollywood, you could mention Denzel Washington. All right, I like his work, and
And what about
uh, a,
in
couple, a couple of others. And then in Nigeria, Olu Jacobs, Pete Edochie, those are tops for me, and that's about it.
all right? So, how would you approach a scene where you do not get along with the scene partner?
That question is tricky because because actually you find people, we find colleagues that are actually unagreeable. There are
Mm.
things I do. I never allow my personal feelings to affect my work. You know, more like I don't allow my emotions to get the better part of my intellect. It's work. It's work. But when the person becomes really impossible to deal with, I tend to ignore the person. I try to ignore the person. And when I can't ignore the person or ignore professional, what I do is I try to negotiate it, because you can't go wrong with negotiations. You can't go wrong with negotiations. So
Okay.
that's what I do.
Okay. So
Ignore.
how do you negotiate? How does the negotiation go about?
Um, by being kind to the person and telling the person that you have to understand that this is about work right now. Please, let's do this work. But you also find people that actually want to make your work look bad.
Hmm.
They'll go out of their way to make your work look bad. And what do? I try to negotiate again. I try to talk. I try to make sure that we're on the same page. And then when it becomes impossible, I don't know, we allow nature to take its course or the director to take charge.
Hmm.
And if I'm the director, what do I do? If I've not gone far in the production, I'll fire the person.
All right. So,
Yeah.
which styles of acting do you think you're most suited for?
I think I've answered that question before. I'm mixed up.
Okay.
Mixed up. It depends on the work. It depends on the work and the culture. But the goal is always
The one I asked before was technique, but this time is style. I think
what's the difference between style and technique? There's
technique.
not,
Okay.
it's a thin line. It's a
But the professional, so you should be able to tell us
No,
the
that's what
difference.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's a thin line. It's a thin line between the two. In style, in style, I employ, I go across, but it depends on the story. Depends on the story and the culture of the film. Because once I get to the language and the culture of the film, then I would dig deep to find the style that will be more that to find a style that will be more suitable for it. You understand? And another thing you have to also consider is what the vision of the director. What is the director's vision? And once you align with that, then you'll be able to settle on a style. You know, that's
I'm
it.
sure, I'm
But
sure
the
that
goal is always standard, to
okay.
tell the story
Sorry.
in the best possible way.
Okay. There's something called development of characters. How do you develop
Sorry about
characters?
that.
No problem.
Um, development of characters is if it's a script, okay. I go to the history of the character. I go to the history of the character. The history of the character will tell me exactly what I need to know about the character, and
Mm.
then how to play that particular character or how to direct that particular character. All right, to get to my goal. All right. Um, um, like I always say, if the character has no history, because there are times there's no history of the character. I create one for the character.
Mm.
I create a history for the character so that I'll be able to be believable. I'll be able to come out as authentic.
You
You know
create
what I
the
mean?
history for the character. If the character
Yes,
doesn't have a history, how do you do that?
I create one character.
How? How do you create?
I create a character. I create a history. I'll tell a story about the
Okay.
character.
Around
I
the
bring in
character.
elements. I bring in elements. I create a culture by a beginning for the character. Then I bring in elements. In script writing, you do that. In storytelling, you do that. You create a history. You give the person, you give the character parents or brothers and a background. Did he grow up well or did he not grow up well? What happened to him along the way? All that. That is history.
Thank you very much,
You
Dex.
understand? Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think makes a performance most believable? Since what you're selling across to everyone is something believable, you want us to believe the story is true, it is authentic, it's everything, and how do you make something believable, especially fiction? Wow.
technique, and talent. Um, uh, um, with talent and technique, and probably training, it will teach you. It will teach you um, reaction, because acting is it's about reaction, really, about how you react, and yeah. Voice acting also plays a huge role here. With a distinct voice and proper movement, you've succeeded in making a character believable.
Hmm.
You've succeeded in making a character memorable. And once the character is memorable, and that's jackpot. That's it, you know. So as a performer, I strive to be memorable in every role that I do. You know, we need to dig deep, invent and discover the emotional depth of a particular character. You know, and this would allow you to bring in power to the screen. You understand what I'm saying? You know, and that is why in film, you know, there are lines that the audience remembers.
In the 21st century's technological advancement, we all seek opportunities to move and network with the emerging space. Introducing Clevenard blog and event posting. Do you think you have some interesting materials, good content, articles, and stories? Then feel free to publish them on Clevenard blog and events page, just as team of our writers are doing presently. By blogging on Clevenard's blogs and events, you benefit from our reach and network. There are constant stream of people visiting our social platform, and we have figured out just how to distribute our contents. This means you can basically skip the line and get access to a big audience from day one. Furthermore, we can help you get in touch with important people for projects with possibilities of translating your content into other languages and republishing them on Clevenard. This helps preserve and protect your content from getting lost. What's more, you also get to be part of our team with access to our network and lots of exclusives, behind the scenes information. And of course, you get full credit for everything you do, which brings you popularity and make extra income. Sign up now on clevenard.com and start blogging to your advantage. Please see the tutorial video on how to blog or post events on Clevenard blogs and events. For more information, contact info@clevenard.com +34 631 279811. Website www.clevenard.com. Clevenard, your blogs, your identity.
My name is Abisoye, and we've been having a wonderful discussion with Dexter. He's been talking to us about acting and directing, because he's an actor and director who has been a child actor. You can imagine what an interesting journey for him. So, Dexter, as we're saying, I think the last discussion, or the last question I asked, was about how to make your performance believable.
Yeah.
And that was what we were talking about. Could you please finish that? Because we went on break.
Yeah, thank you very much for allowing me to go back there. Like I said, it's good technique and talent. Talent is great. Training is great. But you have to have technique as well. You know, sometimes training helps you with technique. Sometimes talent, it just comes naturally, you know. But with those, you'll be able to bring power to your performance, bring power to the audience, bring power to the screen, you know. So it's about, you know, it's about invention, you know, it's about discovery, you know, discovering that emotional depth that will allow an actor to bring power to the screen, you know. So for me, that's a believable performance. One-liners, you know, you find an actor doing just in the whole 19 in the whole feature, of 90 minutes, all right, people always remember the one line. One line, one in Terminator. In Terminator, people remember Arnold Schwarzenegger's "I'll be back." You know, that's what people remember. You know, once you mention Terminator, they say, "I'll be back." You know, so it's that moment that an actor digs deep, you know, to find that emotional depth. You know, so it could be just one word. You know, so yeah, that's I feel technique, talent, and ability to dig deep is what makes a role or a character memorable. You know, so and once it becomes memorable, that means it's believable.
All right. Because I was about saying now I meant believable, not memorable. Okay, thank you very much. Could you please tell us about your last experience in a movie or on stage?
Oh, okay, that's straightforward. My last experience is still ongoing.
Okay.
We're doing a TV series here in Nigeria called Bloodline, and I'm doing that in. It's actually a collaboration between myself and a company called Montage Africa. So the Montage Group Media are my partners on this journey. You know, so the project is ongoing. So sometimes, like today, I'm going to be on set, and then on Thursday, you know, I'm directing. I'm also acting, and yeah. So it's. Don't think I'm biased here because but the project is really dear to me. It's an opportunity for 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 the audience, you know, to see something different, you know, to see in Nigeria from a different perspective. And the producer who is producing alongside me, Femi Ojoye, is a great professional who understands the vision, and he's just awesome, you know. So yeah, it's a project that we believe that will go very far. Yeah, so I'm on it. So that's my last experience, you know.
Okay. So, what do you believe is the most challenging aspect of being an actor?
The most challenging part of being an actor is the beginning.
Hmm.
Is the beginning. Um, it's imperative that we understand this so that the people out there understands it. You know, the beginning of an actor's career, because most of the time, there's no financial gratification in the beginning
Hmm.
because you're beginning. You understand what I'm saying? And that is why you find a lot of people dropping out. So you can't. It's just that beginning. You have to pay rent. You have to feed. You understand what I'm saying? And you're not in a position to negotiate contracts. Whatever you're given is what you do. You understand what I'm saying? As such, that financial consideration is almost insignificant. You understand what I'm saying? You know. So for me, that is what challenges an actor. And my advice to upcoming actors and upcoming filmmakers is always get a day job. Once you have a day job, you'll be able to have finances that will help you to feel that dream. And I tell them, the moment you start earning enough to be able to pay when the job starts paying your rent and for your food, then you can take it to the next level. So for me, also, it's the beginning.
All right. So, do
Every
you
other
believe?
thing, every other thing falls into place
Okay.
after the beginning.
Okay. So, do you believe talent or training is more important to an actor?
Both.
Why?
Training allows you proper info on how it's done. Talent is talent. It's just natural instinct. It's innate ability to do a certain thing, you know. But it's always good to have education behind it, to learn, you know. So when you combine the two, you become what? Top notch. Top notch.
Okay.
It's that simple, you know. So yeah, talent has carried a whole lot of people, you know, but you know that talent is limited, but yet it's not limited. Because this is an industry where experience also teaches you. You understand what I'm saying? Experience teaches you as you go along. But if you have the opportunity to get training, please do get training. Combine that with the talent that you have, then your remuneration based on work done will be gratified.
What an interesting conversation we've been having for over how many minutes now? For over 30 minutes, I guess. Thank you very much, Dexter, for coming to join us on this program. And it's nice having you.
Thank you very much for having me. And I'll be looking forward to more interviews, especially when we're done with Bloodline.
Okay, no problem. So we've come to the end of today's program. My name remains Adega Bisoyi. Thank you for joining us on today's program. Bye now.
Hello there. Looking for an African movie? Search no further. Clevenard African Movies TV is here for you. We are dedicated to the acceleration of African films, TV series, documentaries, and lots more. Explore our movies at home or on the go. Clevenard Movies is free to watch on clevenard.com. Don't miss this opportunity. Hurry now. Sign up and subscribe today. Hello.